So we're back with another painting tutorial, guys, and this time it's for the Night Horror Wraith miniature. I painted in a color scheme that I think it's going to be very unique. Not many people may want to copy this. I'm trying to follow the 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy Undead painting style, where they had a lot of these bright and bold colors. So this video is a bit different. It's going to be the first one where I go over a majority of the model. So the video will show how to paint this blue, the orange/yellow hood, and then this slightly rusted non-metallic. And he's slightly shiny because I haven't put the matte varnish on yet, but here's the end result you'll get. I don't cover how to paint the rope or the handle because it's very simple. But this is what you should get at the end, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, for the month of October, or soon to be October, there's going to be a lot more paint tutorials for a lot more undead miniatures. So guys, we're going to start with base coating the, main robe color with Citadel Macragge Blue. It's a base color, so it should go on fairly decently. I would say I did about 2 to 3 coats. Some parts I didn't need to, but other parts I obviously had to do it. You can tell from even the video right now, this main part I had to do a second coat. So this is what the model should look like after the 2 to 3 coats. The next step is to actually grab a Calidor Sky from GW. It's another base color. I do like this color a lot, as I do feel like even without thinning it, it just provides a natural transition for future highlights. So it's my favorite combination of mine, the Macragge Blue and Calidor Sky. Both are base paints, and they just go on pretty smooth, so I really do like it. So when you highlight the model, like I said in most videos, hit the most prominent edges and try to keep it a bit thicker so in future steps you can still see the color. So guys, this is what the model should look like once you have the highlighted step. The model is starting to pop out and take shape. So the next highlight is going to be Techless Blue by Citadel. It is a layer paint, and this color actually is still quite subtle as well. I find this to also be a nice transition color. This color combination, you really don't have to create these thin glazes that so many painters encourage. Your eye kind of just naturally follows the color transitions by themselves. So take your time with it. You can see I'm clearly putting still pretty broad highlights. You don't need anything quite fine and detailed yet, so these steps can be a little bit messy. Don't worry too much, as again, you just want these blue tones to start popping on the model. So as we get closer to the final highlights, there's that blue undertone that we want to keep. The highlights we will be doing are more of that blue-gray tone. So this is the model with that Techless Blue laid down. You can start to see all of the, sharp edges start popping out. So moving along, we're going to go to the, third final highlight. It's going to be GW Rust Gray, the layer paint. And for this step, this is where you do need a little bit more brush control. When you highlight this, try to focus on probably only a quarter of each part you're highlighting. Try to keep the lines, fairly thin. If you make it a little bit thicker, it's still fine, as we have 2 more highlights to lay on the model. But for this, start hitting just the edges you want to pop. Again, I can't really give a full guideline of where I highlight. I just go with the rule of cool. Even if it doesn't make sense, just choose areas that you think you want the viewer to look at and appreciate that detail of the model. So for example, on the cloth, I'm going to highlight both those bottom rips a little bit. You don't really need to, but for me, I do think it adds that visual interest that someone who's looking at the model gets to enjoy the more they look from the top to the bottom of the model. So this is what the model looks like with the first rust gray highlight. You can start to see that rich blue coming through the rose, and that's the whole idea. So guys, moving along, we have Fenrisian Gray by GW. For this highlight, since it's not the final highlight, don't keep it extremely small. I know in the video I might put a dot or two. I do go back and try to make it a little bit longer. Since this isn't the final highlight, you don't have to put that perfect, volumetric white specular dot highlight. Take your time with it. Try to make it a little bit more prominent, as again, this isn't the final highlight. So don't be so reserved with it. Still have a bit of fun, but you can already tell from the video for this angle, just by putting it, those folds, those sharp creases are really popping, and it just goes to show how nice these Oldhammer classically sculpted models have. All these small details just start to pop, and for me, I really enjoy it. So yeah, this is what the model looks like with the Fenrisian Gray highlight. It's really looking stunning now. So on to the final highlight for the blue. We're going to use GW Blue Horror. And like I mentioned, for this highlight, as you can see in the video, you're just putting basically dots or very, very fine highlights. This color is nearly white, so it's very, very strong. So do not overdo it, or you'll kind of diminish all of the work we've been doing to get this nice blue tone. And I do like this color, I guess, combination, as it just looks very appealing. It isn't such a strong blue because we're using this gray blue mix to keep it subtle. And here's the final reveal of the blue cloth that's completed. I really do like this combination, and I hope you guys find uses for this. I think this blue can be applied to so many different armies, and it's just a lovely tone to work with. So moving along, we are now working on a very different take, which is going to be an orange-yellow tone hood. I'm trying to keep it very Oldhammer, so it's going to look a little bit bright on camera. I do apologize, but we're going to be grabbing Wild Rider Red from GW and just applying 2 to 3 coats onto the hood. This is what the model does look like. Again, my camera doesn't really pick up the tone properly. It's not this vibrant, I promise you guys. So the next step is actually to grab Wild Rider Red and Uriel Yellow, both by Citadel, and it's gonna nearly be a 50-50 mix. What you're gonna get is a very beautiful, rich orange color, and what you're gonna do, the camera doesn't pick it up too well, I think, but apply it just to the raised areas and make sure this color isn't a fine highlight. You want quite chunky highlights of this color. This will help create the transition as we build up the layers up to a beautiful, vibrant yellow. So make sure this layer is kind of chunky and broad. So this is what it looks like. Again, the camera kind of washes it out, but the layer is there and you start to see that orange build up. Moving along, the next mix is going to be Wild Rider Red and Uriel Yellow. This time 25% Wild Rider Red to 75% Uriel Yellow. You can tell from the video it's definitely getting more vibrant now. We're creating that transition very subtly. And this highlight, again, reapply it to all the areas you did highlight, but reduce the chunkiness. Like I like to say, never kind of cover a whole step you did previously or you just wasted time. So this is what the model looks like after that step. You can definitely see more of that yellow and orange tone popping off from the hood. So the next step is to grab Citadel Uriel Yellow and just start highlighting all the areas. Aim for the sharpest edges, any parts that really need to be defined, just apply it. Don't worry about the thickness still, we still have a couple more highlights to do. Here's the hood with the Uriel Yellow highlight applied to it. Again, a little bit washed out by the camera. Now we're moving along. We're going to grab, I believe, pure Flash Gets Yellow, and this is a very strong yellow tone from Citadel. Apply this to just the sharpest edges you need. Take your time with it. I would say don't keep it like dots. Make sure it can be seen. And here's the final reveal of the hood. It really is striking and popping. Unfortunately, my camera does wash away the color a little bit. I did put some still shots. Still, the color isn't quite correct as you see it in real life, but this is a good place to see what the tone you're going to be getting. So that's why I put in these still shots of the paint job. Now moving along to the non-metallic scythe. We're going to start off by grabbing GW Storm Vermin Fur, and like I say in a lot of my non-metallic videos, apply it to areas that you think would have that metallic shine. I don't aim for the most realistic looking non-metallic, I just aim for what is visually appealing, so make sure you have nice contrast between the bright and the dark areas. So this is what the scythe looks like. I did get a little bit of orange on the top of it. I do cover it up later, but this is like the effect of the non-metallic you're laying out. So the next step is to grab GW Dawnstone and start applying it to about 75 to maybe 80% of the area we just applied. I do end up putting scratches. This layer, you don't need the cleanest transitions, just start layering the colors. A lot of the non-metallic can be adjusted through the last steps. So here's what the sickle should look like. You can start to see everything is blocked out and that non-metallic is starting to form. Now we're going to grab a Ministratum Gray from Citadel, and for this highlight, I'm going to start edging the whole sickle and start cleaning up all of the areas, start defining certain shapes, put scratches in, and start making the color pop a lot more. So you can tell I'm, getting the whole curvature with the Administratum Gray, adding more scratches here and there just to add texture and some visual interest to the metal. There's so much flat surface that you can play with it and just add so much more variety to the material. And here's what it looks like with the Administratum Gray. You can honestly stop here. It really looks the part, but we're gonna go take it a little bit further. So we're actually gonna grab a slight rust color. I use Hobgrot Hide from GW mixed in with Army Painter Dirt Splatter. I create a very small glaze and I start applying this just to random patches of the metal. This is an undead warrior. I do want to make the metal look a little bit grungy, so apply it liberally where you want. I forgot to take a video of what it looks like afterwards, but you can kind of see the tone it created. Now the final step is grabbing Vallejo Game Color Dead White, and this one you have a lot of fun with it. Edge the hell out of the scythe, add some nice scratches, and put a few glazes in the center of all of the colors you have. This will really give it that nice metallic sheen, and it's going to sell the part that this is indeed steel or iron or whatever metal material. And there is the completed model, or rather the completed blue robes, pumpkin hood, and non-metallic sickle. I hope you guys found this tutorial useful. I had a ton of fun with it. One more model down for Spooktober. Please comment, like, and subscribe for more content.